Hi there, I'm Michelle Singh, and I want to welcome you to the Restful Teacher Challenge. Now, I created this challenge because I have been on the other side of burnout. I have been on the other side of dread. I have been on the other side of drained, okay? And I know what it feels like to be completely overwhelmed and stressed. I know that feeling of being pulled in thousands of different directions. And I know what it feels like when everything is all too much and my brain and physical body and spiritual being is at capacity. So I hope that you're able to gain practical insights from our guest speakers and fellow educators and professionals who will be sharing with you on this challenge. So thank you for joining the challenge, and let's meet our special guest speaker for today. Welcome to the Restful Teacher Challenge. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Nurse Kyanni Flemming. That's just one of her many roles, and I'm excited to have her again on the Restful Teacher Challenge, because if you tuned in last year, you know that she was dropping all of the interesting and practical tips about how you can rest physically, but easily. Yeah. So we are having her again because we just love her.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me
You're
again.
welcome. You're welcome. So I'm going to kick it off by asking Miss Kyanni if she can share who she is, give you a little bit more information about who she is in this world and the important work that you do both professionally and personally.
Well, my name is Kyanni Flemming. As Michelle alluded, I am a nurse, but I am also a licensed massage therapist. And I don't actively work as a nurse in the hospital any longer, but I do still play a nursing role to my massage clients in the business that I own. So I own a practice. It's called The Kneading Well, and I'm located in Catonsville, Maryland. And the type of work that I do is near and dear to my heart and my hands, of course, because I use them all the time. But as a nurse, I use my hands as well. So I help to what I call need people, right? So I don't just need their bodies, but I also need their spirit, their mind. Um, my clients are like family, and we talk about everything. So not only am I a therapist to their body, like we talk, like we have some very good conversations, and we help each other through things. So it's a certain type of community that I have with my clients, and it's a beautiful thing. We hug. I don't know too many massage therapists out there who uh, feel like it's appropriate to hug my clients, but my clients know we hugging. So that's important too, for just their mental and emotional well-being, which is very important that I help nurture that as well. Although they're coming on my table for body work.
Right. So I see so many parallels between your work as a massage therapist and even a nurse, right? You're a caretaker. You talk
Mhm.
about your clients are like family. You talk about needing the bodies and the mind and the spirits of the people you serve. And that's so much like what teachers do with
Mhm.
students and their families. They're caretakers to their students in their classrooms as well as their home. They're there we treat the people we serve like family. Always, they become family. We spend so much
Yeah.
time with them, and we are nurturing them academically, them socially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, culturally, right? So
Mhm.
it's the holistic educational aspect for them, serving them holistically, just like you said you serve your clients. So I'd love for you to share a bit about how how you came to put it as a priority to think about your clients holistic like that.
Well, being a nurse and working in Western medicine, like healthcare is so very fragmented, just like the educational system. Um, there's so many I don't want to say artificial, but you go to a provider and the first thing they want to do is put you on medicine or give you surgery. They never want to see kind of what the root cause is. And I'm a firm believer that um, everything starts from within, right? So, you know, disease is dis-ease if you break the word up. So if you find a way to bring ease back into the body, and you can do that other ways than a surgical intervention or a pharmacological intervention, but if you start there, then you can help the body heal itself. Our body is meant to heal itself. It is designed to heal itself without any outside work. And other than my hands, because as a massage therapist, I help the body heal from the outside in. So it was as a nurse that I really realized that we're doing our patients a disservice by not really helping them get back in touch with their bodies and helping them solve their problems right from within.
All right. There's so much that you mentioned that I want to touch on. You talked about um, us being ultimately in alignment with our bodies, listening to our bodies, right? But that's not something that's automatic that we know how to do or easy to do, right? So how do you help your patients navigate that? How do you help the people you serve navigate that? Because one of the things that's come up in other interviews is we ignore the signals from our bodies, and then things get worse and worse to where we're now being reactive
Right.
rather than proactive.
Correct.
So how do you help your patients be better listeners and be more aligned with their bodies?
It's 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 difficult, right? Because I have to help them unlearn what they've learned about how you address pain, how you address discomfort. So pain is not normal. Discomfort is not normal. So I try to help them think of themselves like their car. When the check engine light, when you hear ticking, when the gas gauge gets low, when you look at the oil gauge, or like we have all of these gauges within our body that tells us a story about what's going on. So our body is always giving us signs about what's going on. It's not until we get a symptom that we start noticing things, or that check engine light comes on when we notice things. So when your gas light comes on and says you need more gas, it's automatically what you do. You go to the gas station and you fill it up, because you can't drive a car without fuel. You can't move your body every day. You can't do what you need to do every day without either fueling your body or resting your body. So I try to talk to clients about that, about the check engine light. We get that little, ache in our neck or twinge in our hip, and we're like, okay, it'll go away. It never goes away. But when you get a flat tire in your car or the engine starts overheating, you're going to take it to the car dealer or the mechanic to look at it. That's the same thing that we have to do. We have to go within, not ignore those signs, learn our bodies. I think that's key, right? Because I don't think we always really know our bodies. We know what the doctor tells us about our bodies through lab work or blood pressure, or temperature thermometers, those type of things, but we never really know what our body is doing. And we just have to take that time to learn that. So through massage, I feel things, and I love providing my clients with that awareness, because they'll come for one thing, but I'll discover a whole slew of other things. And they'll say, I never knew that was there. Or I felt something, but it wasn't until you touched it did I realize it was a real thing. Like,
Wow.
and that's what I like about what I do, is giving my clients self-awareness. And then that's a talking point. We start there because I meet them where they are, and we start there and we talk about things, not just, okay, you need to come see me every week or every 2 weeks or every month, but I try to give them practical tips of what they can do at home.
Yes.
To help undo what's going on in their body. Because I want them to be the responsible party more than you.
Yes. And I'm so glad you talked about giving them those practical tips, because the reality is people in our field won't have the time to come see you or someone like you, and they won't know that problem is there until that problem becomes a disease or a disorder that is and and it's just the nature of the work that we do. I've done it for many years, never took a day off, because I wanted to fight through it, because it was more work for me to go to school than it was for me to actually take the day off. Right. And so we push ourselves through it. I'm feeling a little bit of ache right here. That's okay. I'm going to wake up, maybe take a Tylenol or something, and I'll be fine. Right. that's just what it is, what it is. That is just the reality, right? So
Mhm.
how do you help them to fuel their bodies? What are some of the strategies and the practical tips that you share with your clients to help them fuel their bodies in their busy day when they are overwhelmed or don't even know they need to fuel their bodies?
Right. So it's funny you say that too, because uh, my business is called The Kneading Well, and I do talk a lot about eating because food is medicine. And I just maybe about 2 months ago, I have a little area in my office. It's called The Eating Well at The Kneading Well. So what I have is I have healthy snacks because I like to model. As a teacher, educator, you model, to your students every day. So I like to model better eating practice because they come to me hungry or rush in or have to leave and go somewhere and they don't have time to get the right food. So I model healthy eating snacks and also snacks that help with rest. So nuts and seeds are very good foods or snacks to eat because they have tryptophan, which if you ever grandmother always used to say, you eat a big meal, turkey and stuff, and you go right to sleep, you get the itis because some of the foods that we eat have tryptophan in it. So tryptophan helps promote rest and sleep, kind of that slow down. Nuts and seeds also have magnesium in it, and magnesium is a very important mineral that our bodies needs every day. And about 70% of the population is deficient in magnesium. So I have certain foods, like I said, I have certain foods there, not only to help fuel their body, but help promote rest in their body. We talk about stretching. Um, Stretching before you get out of bed, stretching before you go to bed. Um, I demo stretches for them. I actually perform stretching on them. I actually have a couples class that I teach them how to stretch one another. So stretching is very important. A practical tip that I give them: aromatherapy. So I have a suite, and so there are other providers in my suite. And every time I am the one practitioner that always diffuses essential oils. I have other providers that will stop in front of my door and just kind of stand there and take a whiff and sniff and say, I just love walking by your office because it always smells so good. And when my clients come in, if it's after work and they come in a busy day, that's the first thing they smell, and their demeanor, they just totally start to decompress because of the aromatherapy and essential oils that I diffuse. So I tell them, hey, burn that candle that has scents in it, or get you some real good essential oils and diffuse them because you won't have the soot that comes off of candles in the environment. So diffuse essential oils. It's very cleaner to the environment and the air in the house than the soot from the wick of a wax.
Candle. Okay.
A
So
candle, yes.
lots of practical things. So yeah, the eating is we skip lunch, we skip breakfast. So
Mm-hmm.
those snacks that you mentioned that, nuts and seeds have that thing you mentioned that is
Tryptophan, magnesium. Cherries, tart cherry juice is very good to drink at
cherry
night.
juice, cherry
Yep.
juice. Okay.
Tart cherry juice, yep.
So those things like are really good when you are trying to develop a routine for that passive rest, like that when you really your brain won't shut off at night and
Mm-hmm.
you need to go to sleep. Like those are the things like the aromatherapy is going to help to kind of soothe you and calm you, and
Mm-hmm.
foods that you mentioned, and cherry juice. Never thought of that, but
Yep.
okay. So that's
Tart cherry juice, specifically tart cherry juice. Yep.
okay.
And magnesium supplements. You can take magnesium supplements. I take magnesium supplements every night and I sleep good.
Okay. So, well, what's the difference with taking melatonin and magnesium for sleep?
Melatonin is a synthetic form of, well, different. So magnesium is specific to other bodily functions.
Okay.
So it's a micronutrient. So magnesium is needed for muscle relaxation.
Okay.
So not only when you take magnesium is it going to help you to sleep, but it's also going to relax your muscles. It's also good for good heart health. It's good for your joints.
Mm.
Some people have reactions to melatonin. I know for me, I used to take melatonin. Melatonin is something that sometimes you take, and when you wake up, you feel like you got hit by a Mack truck.
You feel drained.
You feel drained.
Yeah, I take it, and that's how I feel when I wake up too. I'm like,
Right.
feel real heavy.
Right. You don't feel that way with magnesium. And also melatonin, one of the side effects is weird, strange bad dreams.
Hmm.
So some
Interesting. We okay.
Right. So
Nice.
I was a melatonin fan,
Uh-huh.
but I started having these nightmarish type of dreams.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
stopped taking it, and instead I took magnesium because you need magnesium for regular body function
Okay.
processes.
I'm happy you're sharing that because that's just not something that I even was aware of. And you're giving practical ways that you could develop a routine, especially in the evening for that
Hmm.
transition to bed. So whether it's that gentle stretching that you do,
Yep.
the aromatherapy or the magnesium supplements or
Hmm.
those the juice or the nuts and the seeds or whatever
Hmm.
it is, those are some things that could help you to settle into your nighttime transition to actually get that sleep.
Yep.
I know last year when we talked, you shared some stretching tips with us and we did them together and it was a lot of fun. And you showed the one that goes like this that we could do at our desks and that was
Uh-huh.
cool. So are there any stretching tips that you would recommend at night and other stretching tips that teachers could do throughout the day that's really quick?
So my favorite, as of lately, that I've been telling my clients is legs up the wall.
Oh,
So
I just
basically,
had a visual and I'm like,
yeah. So it's good too because you can hang out there and meditate, take some deep breaths, but you basically scoot. So here's the wall,
mm-hmm,
and then basically you scoot the bottom, your butt
mm-hmm.
up to the very edge of the wall or that baseboard
Okay,
as
okay.
close as you can to get your legs straight up the wall. So you want to look like, you're in a 90-degree angle.
So you're
But
laying down like on the ground and then your legs are up on the wall.
yes. So
Okay.
this is your body and this is your legs up the wall.
Okay.
Now, because you may not have enough flexibility in your low back or your hamstrings, you may end up being, 45 degrees. Your butt may not scoot all the way to the baseboard of the wall. But the idea is to make sure that you get your legs as straight as possible up the wall, even if your butt can't scoot all the way,
Mm-hmm.
to the bottom of the wall. As you keep doing it, you'll increase your flexibility and you'll get closer and closer to the wall and your legs will get flush up against the wall. But that's great because you can hang out there. You can feel that stretch in
Mm-hmm.
your hamstrings. It helps stretch the low back because a lot of us have low back lumbar issues. So
Mm-hmm.
it creates that space in that low back from sitting down all the time, and it's an inversion type of stretch, which is great because it's decompression. When we sit down, we compress our spine,
Okay.
but when we're like this, we're decompressing the spine, so we're allowing the spine to kind of create space and to come apart as opposed to sitting down and compressing the spine. That's when we get
Okay.
those low back issues, those bulging disc, um, uh, those other issues in that lower back, the what they call DJD, degenerative joint disease, from just
Okay.
sitting um, so long and having those vertebrae just compressed up against each other. So inversions are very good, and that's a very simple inversion to kind of, like I said, to kind of lengthen that spine against gravity.
Yeah. I remember last year you shared that we carry a lot of our stress in our hips.
That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, so hips are we carry a lot of emotion, in our hips, right? Um, so yes, anytime you can do anything to open those hip openers at night, when you wake up in the morning, you got to realize like that's our center of gravity, is our pelvis. Everything moves from our pelvis, whether even when we're bending down, picking things up, our pelvis is involved in everything, walking, sitting, everything. So it takes a great um, amount of activity and pressure and forces every day. Um, so yeah, pelvis and spine are really big deals, are really big indicators of health.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Will that wall thing help with the pelvis stretching as well? Or
Yes, because your hamstrings actually attach to the pelvis.
okay. And I have another question because I'm thinking, with the wall, your legs are against the wall, like you're saying. What
Hmm.
if you have a headboard and you're on the bed? Could you put your legs against the headboard
Hmm.
and have the
Yep.
same effect? And that
Yep.
way you have the cushion if you have a bad back, like I can't be laying on the ground because that
Hmm.
my lower
Yeah.
back is
Or you use a yoga mat or something, something you can make it cushiony. But yeah, you can do it on the bed as well.
okay. Okay. So it could definitely be a nighttime routine. You are right. bed. Just
Yeah.
turn around.
I do that sometimes in between clients. I love doing that sometimes in between clients.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we've got lots of practical things that you've shared, especially when it comes to trying to find something that fits in your routine. Now, not everything is going to work for everybody, because
Right.
if you don't like it, you're not going to do it.
Right.
How do you help your clients identify the thing that aligns best with them so that they are more confident and empowered about implementing it in their routine consistently?
I tell them just try one thing at a time because some people just have no clue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And we talk about a couple of things. And so I said, so you're not overwhelmed. Just try one thing, but give it at least 30 days. I have some clients will try it for a week and write it off. And I'm like, that's not enough time. That is not enough time. So just try one thing. I have clients that say, we talk about meditation. I can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate. I said, there's YouTube. You can go in there, even if you just do it for 5 minutes. But if you do it for 5 minutes every day or every other day, or, twice a week, stick to something consistent and just do it in short spurts. And what you find is you start having that dopamine effect, right? You do something in a short interval and you're like, okay, this is okay. I can do this. This wasn't as hard. You do it again and you do it again. And then your body starts responding with dopamine, that reward hormone. And you're like, I think I can do this a little longer. I think I can do this for 10 minutes. And then 10 minutes become 15 minutes because it becomes a routine and you're having this positive feedback. So you're going to want to do it more. That's how I started meditating. You couldn't pay me for nothing or convince me for anything to start meditating because in my perspective of meditating was sitting there still and your mind just being focused on one thing. Well, my mind will go everywhere. But
Yes.
that's fine. That's okay, right? That's okay. So what I do is I do guided meditation because the voice brings me back within my body when my mind starts going off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. I start off with 5 minutes at night. I use the Peloton app. I'm a Peloton groupie. I started with 5 minutes. Now I can do up to 15 minutes. I do it in the day. I mostly start my morning with meditation before I get out of bed.
Okay.
And when I'm having trouble going to sleep, I use meditation at night. But I started consistently meditating in January. I have made it up to my 100th meditation milestone.
Oh, okay. So that you do get like a reward system on the
Yes.
Peloton app. That's excellent. Okay, so there y'all go. Another app or tool that you can use, another way you can add to your routine at night. 5 minutes. That's all you need to start at
Yep.
night with meditation. You don't have to do it by yourself. You can
Nope.
use the app. And I know that the Calm app and there are other apps as well,
Mm-hmm.
timer lock, apps that have those guided meditations that can help you. You could even use apps that just like the Bible app where it reads out loud and you're just focused on
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that message and just sitting in silence, right? And just
Yeah.
listen. I
There's
mean,
so many tools out there. And just starting my day with that, it just, I don't know. I just feel like a whole new, person,
yeah.
calm, stress free. My body feels more relaxed. Um, and yeah, I'm like, man, how did I miss out on this for so long?
For all these years. Listen, that's what I've been saying. I'm like, how did I not know how to rest until I was 40 plus?
And forced to rest, right?
Right.
And we're so used to rest. You rest because you're tired, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the
No,
only way. Exactly.
no. But when you look at the Bible, God rested. He rested on the seventh day, but he didn't rest because he was tired. He rested because he was productive.
Mm.
So
Rest is
we
productive
need
with that.
we need to change that whole shift that you only rest when you're tired, because some of us will never get tired because we go 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 go, but we should rest because resting shows gratitude to all the wonderful things that we've done, so we can sit and celebrate and rest
And then
all the beautiful things
and you're
that we
honoring your
did
body. You're honoring
that
your
we
body by resting
yes.
as well. Yeah, I love that. Resting is productive. It is not because you're lazy.
Right, right.
It is.
Or because something hurts and now you gotta have several
Yeah.
seats. No,
So it is
it's
a
productive.
priority and it is productive. Love
Yeah.
that.
And
Wow.
then that makes you now want to go out and be more productive
Mm-hmm.
and achieve new heights and new things because you've taken the time to sit back and look at all your achievements and accomplishment and just sit and take that moment and relish in them and rest and say, I did that. So I deserve that. I deserve this moment to sit and celebrate
Yeah.
in whatever form of rest you choose.
Right. Because gratitude certainly is a form of rest. having that gratitude. And imagine being able to start your day where you're not jumping out of bed, rushed to then go into that classroom. And then, the kids are going to come with their issues, and you're going to get that phone call, and you're going to hear that
Yeah.
announcement and read that email. And you already came to class on edge a little bit. Now, imagine if you were to take those extra 5 minutes in the morning to do that stretch, to do that meditation, to do that gratitude practice, to do maybe some deep breathing, whatever, to do the aromatherapy, whatever it is, you took those extra 5 minutes as a gift for yourself so that you could better serve those you serve.
Yeah. Like I don't know how it works in classrooms, but I don't know if they allow you to diffuse aromatherapy, but I'm pretty sure that will have a profound impact on the students' calm and mental, just kind of coming in and having a very pleasant smell. You would be amazed on how that changes somebody.
Fair. It does. So let me tell you, my daughter had a teacher who, before a test, would spray. She called it like a special spray, and it's I'm looking at it right now because I have it in my office. It's called, like, you get it from Bath and Body Works. It's like stress-free spray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's like eucalyptus
Eucalyptus.
or something like that. And I come here in my office, I spray it. It's right at the front, right when I walk in. I grab it, I spray it. I'm like, I'm gonna have a good day, and I spray my little spray. And so
Yep.
my mother's teacher would spray that before a test, and even just the modeling and the act of doing that made the kids notice, and it may have given them that little bit more confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's the routine of it. So I bet you if she didn't do it before test, they'd be like, hey, Miss Wilson, you gonna spray that stuff? You gonna spray that stuff? Because that helps me. That helps me. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. And she remembered that all those years. I think she had a teacher in like second grade.
Yeah. So, you can share these things, with they're practical things you can share with others.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
that's what I like about giving my clients other tips because, they know massage, how that benefits them.
Yeah.
But they may not be able to convince someone else to say, hey, you need to go see Kyanni for massage. But they can say, hey, this is what I learned from her, or this is what helped me.
Mm-hmm.
You should try.
Yeah, absolutely. A part of the Restful Teacher is not only doing it for yourself, but modeling it and being able to share it with your students. Because, like we talked about, why should they have to wait till they're 40 plus to learn how to rest?
Right. Exactly.
They can start
Exactly.
right now from you and be
We
able
can
to.
give them the download up front.
Yeah, the hidden curriculum.
Yeah. They don't have to find out by trial and error.
Exactly. So I love that. I love that. So one of the last things I want to ask you is, you talked about hugging in the very beginning, and I know you did like a hug challenge or 30 days of hugs.
Yes.
I would love for you to talk about that, what you learned, the benefits of hugs, especially when it comes to like your mental and emotional rest.
I will say the biggest thing that I learned is the hug you give is the hug you need.
Talk about the challenge. What exactly did you do? Because they don't even know what the hug challenge is.
So what I did, so I lost in the matter of less than a year. I lost my dad in the end of 2020. I lost my best friend in July of 2021. And then I lost my mom in September of 2021. So in less than a year, I lost three integral people in my life. And the last day that I spent with my mom before she passed away, so I spent a Wednesday with her, and she had passed away sometime between that Friday and Saturday. She was in the car, and I saw her. She just looked very perplexed. And I did not know how to engage her. But I remember telling myself the next time I see her, I'm just going to give her a hug. That never came. So the following, maybe 2 years after that, or the following year, sometime the following year, maybe 2 years after that, I can't remember the time frame. It was Valentine's Day. It was February, Valentine's month. And I was feeling kind of low. And I really needed a hug. And it just brought back to me that I will never hug these people ever again. And so that's what I did. I started a 30-day hug challenge for me, right? The hug I give is the hug I need. I needed these hugs. But I also wanted to model for other people that hugging is good, hugging is okay, and that there are benefits of hugging. So I even learned a lot of benefits about hugging just in my journey for those 30 days. Excuse me. And hugs, there are so many hormones that are released
Mm,
with hugging. There's oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone. It also helps to calm the body. It helps to lower blood pressure. It helps to lower the heart rate. It helps you to feel more connected and bonded with a person.
mm,
Serotonin is the mood hormone, so it helps decrease depression and anxiety. You also dopamine is the reward center, so it makes you want to pull that person in even more. It feels good. You feel comfortable, and you want to keep doing it.
mm,
Sometimes you don't want to let go. Because the dopamine rush that comes. And then, of course, there are the endorphins. So
mm.
endorphins are pain relievers. So if you remember, if you were a kid, and you go ahead and fall somewhere and you're hurting, and your parent will go and maybe rub it or give you a hug and say, oh, it feels better. It's going to go away. And voila, guess what? It doesn't hurt anymore.
Mhm.
That's what touch does.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Touch helps to release endorphins in our body, which are natural pain relievers.
Mm,
So in just one hug, you can connect with somebody. You can boost their mood. Uh,
mm.
you can make them feel like they want to not stop hugging you, and you deliver a dose of, pain-free medicine. So hugging is just is very underrated. I wish we
Yeah.
did it more. So I did that for a month and I started with my clients. And I tell you to this day, I'd say about 80% of them don't leave without giving me a hug. I don't even have to initiate it anymore. Some before they even get on the table, they let me get my hug because when I get off, I'm in la la land. So we hug it up all the time, and I really appreciate that because I take that kind of taboo away from touch, right? So I think that's wonderful. Sometimes I wear hug t-shirts and I'm out in public and people say, "Can I give you a hug?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I forget I have the shirt on. I was like, "Yeah, you can give me a hug. Come on, give me a hug." So it's just wonderful that strangers also embrace that as well. So
Listen,
hug.
even the dog wanted to be touched. You saw how he
Look,
jumped up there,
talking about hugs, wanted a hug.
right next to me, right?
And self hugs too. Like when you hug yourself, your body still releases those same hormones. So even there are times where, you may feel lonely and there's no one around, just hug yourself. And it will do the same thing as you hugging someone else. You'll get the same release of those hormones.
So my niece bought me this. It's what is it called? I think they call it squishmallows. Have you ever seen these? They're
That almost looks like my daughter just turned 30. I had twins, and
uh,
I just sent her a boba tea pillow that
oh,
looked
so this
very similar to that.
so this is supposed to be a matcha tea because I love matcha.
Uh-huh.
And so when she gave it to me, I had no clue what it was. But she's like, Auntie Melly, you're supposed to hug it.
Uh-huh.
But it
Yes.
feels good.
Yes.
So you could do those self hugs with something like this,
Yeah,
right?
so I prefer to do self hugs with pillows. I have tons of stuffed animals. I am just one of those sensory fluffy persons. So yes, I have I was looking, I normally have one around me somewhere. I don't see it. But yeah, that's what I hug. I hug pillows or stuffed animal when I feel like I need to hug. Yep.
Or your real animal, like in my case, because
And you're real and yes, because they need hugs too. They know connection and bonding
yeah,
as well and touch,
yeah.
so it's a way, when people say, "Oh, I don't like touch," I say, "You like to hug?" If you like to hug, you like touch. Or if you accept hugs, you know, you accept touch. So that's just an alternative way, you know what I mean, to give someone a massage.
And
I say a hug is a massage from the heart.
love it, love it. Is there a certain, because I've seen on reels and things where they're like, you need this many hugs a day to
So yeah, so there's actually research. There's research. So one study says that for your body to effectively release all of those hormones, you need to hug for at least 20 seconds.
okay.
And then another researcher says that so there's a certain number of hugs that you should have a day. So if you have 4 hugs a day, that's for survival.
Okay.
8 hugs a day is for maintenance, and 12 hugs a day are for growth. So if you want to grow as a person, as a human being, you need to get your 12 hugs in. They could
12,
be 12 self hugs if you want, but
12 hugs for 20 seconds or more. So
yeah,
start making your list.
yeah, yeah. So one of my clients, he's a pastor, and we just had a random conversation about hugs. Well, he found out that I'm the hug dealer, and he wanted to know the story behind that. And so I told him that. And so now during church when they had that kind of interlude where they, go shake your hands, your
Yeah.
neighbor's hands. He says, go hug 12 people.
Ah, love
But
it.
that's what they do every Sunday now. They find 12 people to hug.
Oh my. Love that, love that. And that's such an easy way to release.
Easy way to, and rest, right? When you hug a person,
Mm.
when you really, or hug your pillow, you just kind of go,
I've had hugs like that at the retreat that we were on.
yes,
I've had that hug that made me emotional because I was so pent up with emotion on the inside.
yep,
And that one hug that lasted more than 20 seconds forced me to
hmm,
release.
yep.
Yes. You
Like
don't
I
know
said, the
it,
hug you give is the
power.
hug you need.
Yeah,
Yep.
the power of the hug. I experienced it, so I'm a believer.
Hmm.
I am a believer. Well, Kyanni, I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your expertise and your stories and your experience and just your unique way of serving others and helping them to be better in the world that we live so that they can serve the people that they are, that they are in touch with every day. If you could give one piece of advice to teachers who are just learning about rest or teachers who feel like they just don't have the time for it, what would you give them or what would you tell them about rest and the importance of cultivating joy through rest?
I would tell them that you're never going to find the time. You have to make the time. It's never just going to magically appear. You're going to have to do the work just like you do with the work as an educator. You're actually going to have to do it and want to do it for yourself.
Mm.
Start in small increments. 5 minutes a day to stretch, 5 minutes a day to meditate, you know, 5 minutes at night for some type of routine. You have to make that time. It wasn't until I made every excuse why I couldn't do these things. But because I know better, I do better.
Better. Mm-hmm.
And it started with 5 minutes, and now I have this whole routine in the morning that my body knows that if I don't do something, it's not right for my clients, right? You know, you have to set your well-being has to be the priority
Mm-hmm.
because when you show up for yourself, you show up better for others. And that's what we do as educators, as caregivers. You know, it is our purpose to show up better for others. And the only way to do that is to make the time to show up better for ourselves.
Show it for yourself. So you heard it. Make the time. We plan every day in our field. We plan every single day. So put ourselves in our plans. Make
Yep.
rest plan. And even if it's just like you said, 5 minutes, start small. You just got to do it. You just got
You
to do it.
just gotta do it. Yep. Just like Nike, just do it.
Just do it. Schedule your 12 hugs and your
Yep.
5 minutes. There you go. So
Yep.
thank you again, Kyanni, for joining us. It was a pleasure. It was fun. It's always fun chatting with you.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, and I'm glad you were able to contribute to the challenge again this year. So
Thank
everybody.
you for having me again.
Oh, if they want to follow you to see your work, where would they go?
So I am on all social media. I can be found either I'm a TikToker, so that's another thing. So on all social media, the Kneading Well, which is my business. The Kneading is KNEADING and Well is WELL. Or my name, which is Kyanni Nicole, KYANNI, and Nicole is NICOLE. So you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook under those two pages. I have a personal one and a business one. So I do, talk about my things and my hugs and what I like to do for physical rest as well. And, my massage and, I give some practical, tips for eating. And I have some reels or about, magnesium and things that you can do to take to sleep, foods, to eat and stuff like that. So I try to put some good stuff out there, some good energy out there.
And do you ever do anything virtual? I know you're in Maryland. So do you ever do anything virtual with your clients?
I have not started doing anything virtual yet. It is on the list. It is on the list.
All right.
Things to do.
Well, be sure to let me know.
I shall. I shall definitely let you know.
All right. So thank y'all again for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for participating in the Restful Teacher Challenge. I hope you found our guest speakers' insights inspiring and practical. Take the time to plan and implement your joyful rest daily, and tell us about it in the community.